5. B. Listening. You will hear a radio interview with a meteorologist about Hurricane Katrina. Which of the following topics are mentioned?
Hurricane Katrina was one of the 5 deadliest hurricanes in the history of the United States. It occurred in August 2005 and killed over 1,800 people. However, the most severe loss of life and property damage occurred in New Orleans, Louisiana, where thousands of people lost their homes. Joining us is meteorologist John Soho. He will help answer some questions about Hurricane Katrina.
Hello. Well, to start off, Hurricane Katrina was a Category 5 hurricane. These storms are rare and very, very dangerous. The high winds and the heavy flooding usually cause massive building destruction. In New Orleans, for instance, over 80% of the city was flooded, which means most of the buildings were either destroyed by the storm or rendered useless by the floods.
Exactly where did Hurricane Katrina come from?
Well, Hurricane Katrina formed as a large storm over the Bahamas on August the 23rd, 2005. It then started to move over Florida. Although the storm weakened over land, it regained hurricane status about 1 hour after entering the Gulf of Mexico. On August the 29th, Katrina hit land again, this time in Louisiana, before moving north and weakening.
Weren't there any preparations made for the hurricane?
Well, yes, people were forced to evacuate in parts of Florida, Mississippi and Alabama. People were also forced to evacuate New Orleans. However, in spite of the evacuation, many people could not leave town. Those that did not leave the city were sheltered in public places like football stadiums, where they were provided with food and water. Also, the Coast Guard was prepared for help and rescue with planes and boats.
Exactly how much damage did this hurricane cause?
Well, that's a good question. It caused damage in a number of different ways. Hundreds of houses, as well as businesses, were lost, leaving many people without an income and without a place to live. Also, Katrina had a major impact on the environment. It caused beach erosion and damage to 20% of the local marshes. This affected many of the local species such as marine mammals, turtles, fish and ducks. Also, a lot of the floodwater contained sewage, bacteria and toxic chemicals that affected the health of the local residents as well as of the local animals.
So, what is being done to help people in New Orleans?
The government is helping to rebuild roads, bridges and houses. First of all, it was estimated that it would cost about $100 billion to repair the damages. Also, over 70 countries around the world have donated money and services in order to help hurricane victims. There are also charity organizations which are offering volunteer work and donating money in order to help rebuild New Orleans. Despite what we may think, every little bit helps.
In general, what can one do to prepare if such a hurricane were to hit again?
Well, it's important to follow instructions. If an evacuation is called for, then you must be willing to leave your house. That means gathering up your belongings and following the orders of the authorities. For instance, in Louisiana, thousands of people gathered in the Superdome, a football stadium, in order to protect themselves from the flooding. Under no circumstances should anyone drive or be outside once the hurricane has arrived. If you are at home, then it's important to go to a safe place. You should stay indoors in a room that does not have any windows, such as a bathroom or in a closet. Also, if a flood threatens your home, be sure to turn off the mains electricity.
Well, thank you for all your input, John. This was all very informative.